Hi, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Consulting Best Practices, the first post-World Cup edition. And I'm David A. Fields. I'm joined by my colleague, Carol Williams. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, David.
I always say that, and of course, it's afternoon. So, well, good afternoon also. And hello to John and to Tom and to Michael and the rest of you who are here. Type your names in. Let us know you're here if you're willing. Format here is really simple. You ask us questions in the chat by emailing them to us. We give you answers that hopefully help you enjoy a more rewarding, lucrative, successful consulting practice. And that's kind of it. It's pretty straightforward. So, Jaron, I'm pretty sure we had one left over from last week that we didn't get to. Is that right? If so, will you post it? And Carol, you can read it, and then I will answer it, whatever it says.
That sounds like a great plan. All right. So, Dan, thank you very much for submitting this last week. He said he had an outreach call with a decision maker colleague recently, just joined the firm 3 months ago, his new company 3 months ago. During our call, he described having issues we helped solve. I felt it was premature to inquire about supporting him, given his company tenure and his busy schedule acclimating. How or when do you recommend I reapproach to explore if we could help? And Dan, thank you for jumping in and saying good morning. So glad you're here to hear your question getting answered. David, what do you think?
So this is an interesting one. So I'll give you a straightforward answer, Dan, and then you can push back or ask more. There is a specific technique for exactly this, which is the turn. I think your sensitivity to this prospect acclimating is worthwhile, and that makes sense. But at the same time, you could just ask him. You're having a good conversation. You can say, look, are you open to a separate conversation where we discuss these challenges, and or when would be the right time for that conversation? Right? Those are both very easy asks, and you're not selling it. What you're doing, and you're not trying to say, here, I want to support you, I want to get business. You're just asking for a conversation to discuss his problem more and explore whether or not partnering might help. So you could have done that from the very beginning, and you can do that right now. You don't need to wait a certain amount of time. And by the way, 3 months in some ways, it's a bit of a shame he's already 3 months in, because from the very beginning, you can have a conversation with someone about how you can help them get started on the right foot. So a first 90 days, first 100 days, or maybe with this client, a second 90 days, and you might position it as the first 90 days, you're just acclimating. The next 90 days, you have to put points on the board. And so would it be worthwhile having a conversation about how you put points on the board? Because that's going to be really important. That's sort of where I would head with that. Carol, agree, disagree? What do you think?
100% agree.
Okay.
100%. Yes.
Okay, good. There we go. So Dan, let us know whether that answers your question, whether you still have some questions, whether maybe I interpreted it wrong. And if any of you have different points of view, please put them up. And hi, Suzanne, Newport, Rhode Island. Lovely weather in Newport. And hopefully you have limited amount of Canadian smoke going in. Those Canadians and their barbecues, if any of you are listening, or forest fires. All right. What else have we got? Was anything submitted, or do any of you have questions? Jaron? Oh, okay. Let's see. Blake. I am launching my first book. Congratulations. How can I make the best use of this opportunity to reconnect with people and do it in a way that is right side up, but also helps my business? Should I ask for endorsements? All right. Carol, what do you think?
Well, first of all, Blake, I'm going to join David in kudos on publishing your first book. That is huge milestone and a very big achievement for you. So getting the work in and getting that published is fantastic. And absolutely, you can help your business and still be right side up. Hopefully, the book is going to be about the people that you want to reconnect with so that there is a reason to talk to those people. So, just making sure that in and of itself will make it right side up because the book will help the people that you are talking to. So, that is step number one. The step number two, as part of your conversation, it can absolutely talk about the book. It's okay. There is no reason, especially when they're going to ask, "What have you been up to lately?" Well, I am publishing my first book. I'm really excited about it. Usually people will follow that up with a, "Wow, what is it about?" And that's where you can talk about your book. So it's perfectly fine. It's a good conversation with people you're reconnecting with. The second part of that being helping your business is hopefully, in addition to all the connecting that you're doing or going to do, you're also going to be doing webinars and other activities
Yeah.
to increase the visibility about the book and getting all of those different opportunities and partnerships together. And 100% you can ask for endorsements. There is nothing wrong with that. And if you can get 1,000 endorsements, go for it. The
Yeah.
sky is the limit. So, David, what do you think? Did I cover everything? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I agree with you. So again, congrats to Blake for the book. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I also think so. I'll throw out some heresy. I think it's okay to be a little bit upside down when you're promoting a book. So it is look, it's a big deal. It is not easy to write a book, especially a good book, and to get it published. And I don't recall whether I don't remember whether Blake said it was self-published or commercially, but either way, it's a big deal, and it is okay to go out to your network and say, "Look, I have a book." I agree with you, Carol. The one to many is a big deal. Podcasts, webinars, reconnecting in part by touching a lot of people. The only, I suppose, nuance I might throw out there is that when you do a webinar, your webinar is not about your book. The webinar should be about something that's really valuable to people and connects to the book, but it's not about the book. People don't really have, I mean, they like you and want to support you, but don't need to go to a webinar about your book. So that's the only other thing I would throw in there. But yeah, that's awesome. Suzanne, sorry about the air quality rate last week. Hopefully it's better this week. Stay inside. And Dan, yeah, pretty straightforward.
Well, Dan did post a follow-up, real quick,
Okay.
and that was in your book, you mentioned that when prospecting, you wait to develop rapport with a new prospect before you explore potential opportunities. Can you explain that shift? How does that conversation change or evolve when exploring opportunities?
Yeah. So if you're in conversation with someone and they're describing the challenges they have, you have rapport. Either because they're just willing to share with anyone, that's fine. They build trust quickly or they extend it quickly, or because you've established a safe environment where they feel they can share what's going on. If they are sharing, you have rapport. If they're just saying, "Well, who are you? Tell me about your company. What is it you doing for whom?" You don't have much rapport.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the real good indicator is you have it. They're sharing. So that's excellent. And that gives the opportunity to say also the turn in some way test that. If you say, "Look, is it worth us having a conversation at some point about these challenges you're having and maybe there's a way we can help, maybe not. What do you think?" If they say, "Nah, I'm not really feeling it with you, Dan," then guess what? You haven't built enough rapport. That doesn't happen very often, though. Did I miss anything in that, Carol? Or
Well, I think there's a few little nuances that I
yeah,
can add in,
go
and
for it.
that is when we think about the 6 pillars of consulting success, right? The left side of know, like, and trust, that's you developing that rapport.
Yeah,
And so if he is already sharing the problems that he's experiencing, well, he obviously knows you, he likes you, and he is demonstrating that he trusts you
yeah,
right there. So that's like a fantastic win on the relationship side of the house. Then it's also by asking the question, and if he says, Well, now's not a good time. However, I think if we talk in about 3 weeks, that's also demonstrating whether or not he's got the sense of urgency. That also is a precursor to how quickly could that
Right.
opportunity show up, because he knows timelines that he may or may not have shared with you in the conversation already. So that's another way of asking when you're saying, when would be a good time? If he says tomorrow sounds great, then that shows you a big sense of urgency.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. And so, exactly, if someone's willing to have the conversation after the turn, finding out, well, when, tells you a lot. That's smart, Carol. I like that.
Thanks.
And Dan, congratulations on the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's outstanding. Very good. All right, we all done? Any more questions? Is there anything else in the magic bag, Jaron?
All right. So June submitted a question, David. I have a prospect who's very interested in working with my firm. That's fantastic. Kudos, June. But in conversation, I found out they've worked with another firm that's similar to mine, and they've already adopted some of the distinctions and language that firm uses. Our IP isn't the same as the other firms, but it is similar. We use different names, though. How do you navigate it when some of your stuff is the same, some is different, and you want to be distinctive? David, what do you think?
Is it an interesting one? They've used the other firm, but now they're turning to you. So does that mean they don't like the other firm? I don't know. So this is good. My instinct says it depends to what extent this other firm's vernacular is embedded, right? So those other firms' terms, is this what they use all the time? For instance, if I was someone, didn't run our firm, was going into a client that had used us, and they're constantly talking about right side up. Okay, so that's embedded or not. So that's going to be really important for you figuring out what to do. I think you need to acknowledge the similarity, the acknowledge the connection between your model and their model or whatever they've used before. Show what's different and why it's different. And then you basically need to move forward with your model and your language, but adapting as necessary based on what's embedded. If they already have terms that are embedded, they use them, then, and it's not going to cause massive harm to your whole model and approach, then I would probably sort of bend your system a little bit to use their terms, because it's not about you, it's about them. And you're trying to get them to the right outcome. And so, yeah, the terms aren't super important. If it's not embedded, then use your own. I guess that's what I would say. I'll be really interested if anyone has a different opinion on that, including you, Carol. What do you think?
Don't you know, I do have an opinion on this topic
Okay.
just based on my experience at my firm, right? So from that perspective, you also have to understand how not it may just not be the same term, but understanding what was the meaning of that term. Because there is also nuance in maybe how the other term defines something versus how your firm defines it. And you need to make sure that the definition is the same as well, not just the term.
Yes.
It could be more encompassing, or it could be more restrictive, or it could mean something completely different than what you intend. And so making sure that you understand both levels of that is going to be extremely helpful. The other piece of it is there are sometimes when terminology doesn't matter. It's more about the business understanding the concepts, and the organization making sure that they just understand and they can execute on the concepts even without having terminology.
Yeah. I think that's really fair. Yeah, you need to understand what they stand for, the terms and where it's important. Perfect. And look at that. We've eaten up 15 minutes. So thank you for spending 15 minutes with Carol and with me. Before you run away, are you connected with me on LinkedIn? Are you connected with Carol on LinkedIn? If not, thank you, Jaron, has put our LinkedIn profiles there. Make sure that you're connected with us. Also, Presumably, you hear about all these sort of concepts and ideas because you're reading our articles every week. And if you're not, make sure you're subscribed and you get them. Because in addition to articles, every once in a while, not right at the moment, but sometimes we announce other things that we're doing that are exciting, and you only get to hear about them if you're subscribed. So do that. And finally, make sure, like many of you already have it on your calendar, if you're new here, you're listening to this on replay, and you're like, wait, what is this? How do I get this more often? Put that in your calendar. davidafields.com Monday Live. Put it in every Monday, and that way you get to join us every Monday. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fabulous week. Remember, as always, consulting is about them. We talked about that earlier. It's about your clients and your prospects. So give them value and give them kindness. And we will see you next Monday. Take care, all.
Bye.